Hey everybody, Sean for Media Assault here, and it's time for another movie review. This time out, it is Captain America, the last of the big superhero films for the summer of 2011, and the last of the lead-in films for next year's The Avengers, which will throw the Hulk and Thor and Captain America and Iron Man all together with other people. And of course, we'll finally find out what all these movies have been leading up to. We've had the Hulk and Iron Man 2 and Thor and now Captain America. So we'll finally get to see what all that stuff after the credits is leading up to. Captain America, the First Avenger, which is the full title of this film, is of course the origin story for Captain America. It primarily takes place in 1940s. In the 1940s during World War II. There is some tie-in to modern times, which I won't really talk too much about, if at all. But this tells the story of Steve Rogers, who is a scrawny kid from Brooklyn who's trying really desperately to get into uniform as a soldier to fight in World War II against the Nazis. So he's basically trying everything he can to fake his identity and not get rejected because he's too small. He suffers from asthma, allergies, all sorts of different things, but he really wants to get in. So he's got a lot of heart. He just doesn't have the physical attributes needed to fight alongside his friend Bucky, who's played by Sebastian Stan. So Bucky goes to war. Steve has to stay behind, but there's a glimmer of hope because he's actually picked by Dr. Erskine, who's played by Stanley Tucci, to participate in this super soldier program where they will take someone who is of a lesser physicality, I guess, and inject him with this super soldier serum and turn him into what eventually will become Captain America. On the flip side, on the Nazi side of things, we have a character by the name of Johann Schmidt who is pursuing a cube of power. It's a little blue cube that is a direct reference to the Thor universe. Basically, he calls it the power of the gods, and he's trying to harness that to power some gadgets that he and his science team, Hydra, have put together. They've got laser guns and all sorts of interesting gadgets that run off this power of the gods. Red Skull is Johann Schmidt's alter ego, as it were, and we find out that he is essentially the mirror image, or the negative image, I guess, of Captain America, because he was created by a similar type of serum that was also worked on by Dr. Erskine before he defected to the United States. So there's kind of a duality there, although the film doesn't do a great job in exploiting the connection between Captain America and Red Skull. They're just supposed to not like each other because they're on two different factions. I think they could have done more with that, but still, it's kind of an interesting concept. The film has a really cool retro look, which is appropriate because it does take place during World War II for the majority of the time. That is really there's an interesting atmosphere to the film that is kind of different. It kind of sets it apart from the other Marvel films that we've seen before. Chris Evans, who plays Steve Rogers / Captain America, does a really good job. He has a real earnestness about him. We've seen him before playing the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four films. He's a lot better, I think, in Captain America than he is in the Fantastic Four movies. I think this role suits him a little better. Hugo Weaving, who plays Red Skull, Johann Schmidt, he is the best villain so far this summer, at least as far as the superhero movies go. Unfortunately, the movie doesn't do a lot with him, and I kind of mentioned that. They don't really exploit that relationship between Captain America, his origin, and Red Skull's origin. But when Red Skull is on screen, Hugo Weaving is just chewing up the screen. He's chewing up the scenery. He's really good. I really like Hugo Weaving in pretty much everything he's in. He was in V for Vendetta, and he was the police inspector in The Wolfman, which was also directed by Joe Johnston. He was good in that, although he didn't have a huge role. He was really good. And of course, he was Mr. Smith in the Matrix films. He's always good. He's very dependable, and he is really, really well utilized in Captain America in terms of what he can bring to the character. The script, however, doesn't do enough with the character. Some things I didn't like about Captain America. Number one, sometimes the visuals seem a little off. There are a few scenes where it's painfully obvious that the backgrounds are digitally rendered or not there, that the characters are superimposed over the front of them. There's like a disconnected feel, which is more noticeable, I think, in this film because of the retro feel and the way everything looks so good in many of the scenes. When things look a little too CGI-y, it just sticks out like a sore thumb, and that really kind of bothered me. And I'm not a big fan of CGI anyway, most people know that. But it just really sticks out here because the film just has a more organic feel to it, I guess. Like I said, Red Skull isn't given a whole lot to do, so that is a criticism. And the ending of this film is a little odd, and I won't give it away, but it just seems a little strange. It just sort of screeches to a halt. And it doesn't appear that needs to happen because the movie is adequately long. It's over 2 hours long. Not much more than 2 hours long, but I think it could have been paced more effectively. Still, though, I liked Captain America. I think of the superhero films that have come out this summer, you've had X-Men First Class and Green Lantern and Thor and now Captain America. I think the only one that's really better than Captain America is X-Men First Class. I liked it. I liked Captain America more than Thor by a little bit. I liked it quite a bit more than Green Lantern, but I did not like it as much as X-Men First Class. I think X-Men First Class was infinitely more effective in the way that it handled the pacing. It made better use of its villains, and visually it was just better. But Captain America, as just a singular hero rather than a team, he's an engaging character, and I really liked him, the character, and I liked Chris Evans playing Captain America. So that really helped propel this movie even to its rather odd and unfortunate ending, which didn't quite ruin it for me, but did take it down a notch. I think if it would have ended a little better, this may have been, for me at least, a better film than X-Men, but it isn't. Joe Johnston is the director of this movie, and he's done some good movies, he's done some bad movies. He did direct Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which I liked a long time ago. And he did Jurassic Park 3, which was okay, nowhere near as good as the original Jurassic Park, or even as good as the lesser Lost World. And he did The Wolfman last year, which I didn't like at all, but I don't think that was his fault. I think that production was just flawed from the beginning. Here, though, I think he's made a very good film, much better than the majority of the other films that he's worked on. And that's why I'm somewhat confused by the visual letdowns in Captain America, because Joe Johnston is known for his work on the original 3 Star Wars films, where he was an art director for visual effects. I think he would have been a little bit more disappointed by what's on screen here visually. But again, not all of the effects are bad in Captain America. It's just the ones that are bad are pretty atrocious. So if I had to rate this movie, I would rate it an 8 out of 10, which puts it slightly ahead, like I said, of Thor, but slightly behind X-Men First Class. So would I recommend you go see it? Absolutely. It completes all the run-up films to the Avengers, and I do want to tell you, stay for the credits, stay till after the credits, where you will see the obligatory, Sam Jackson getting involved with the character of the film, which seems to be the running theme with these movies leading up to the Avengers. But you'll also see a full-blown trailer for the Avengers, which really looks good. And it actually got me very excited to see the Avengers, which comes out, I believe, in May of next year. So that's my review of Captain America. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.